Mercer at Missouri. Good afternoon. We have a different opening to the show. Are you ready?
I am prepared. What do we have?
Ben Brust is here to help promote Made 'em Believe, an event occurring June 26th, honoring the last college team in football or basketball to get up 9, 13 minutes to go. I'll never forget it. Ben Brust. So any questions you have, any memory you have, that's what I have about 2015, because that's what I said in the postgame. And Bo Ryan said, if you knew anything about basketball, you'd know that's too early. Okay.
UWHoops2015.com to celebrate the team in which they did lose the 9-point lead with 13 minutes left. They also had a lead later in the game as well. It just
by a point or maybe.
But I'm going to
look up.
But still, if you told me that basketball team had a 13-point lead, or excuse me, a 9-point lead with 13 left, they probably still win that 80% of the time based off the way the team was constructed and how good they were and how they didn't make mistakes and give up big runs. Grayson Allen came off the bench and did crazy things that he hadn't done all season.
Yeah, and Coach K brought him off the bench because he had no other choices. Everything else had failed. He was his last resort.
Do you believe the people that think that if Bo Ryan
yes, I believe that.
walked out with the referees at halftime, it would have been officiated differently?
No. What he needed to do
was get a tee right away?
Was get a tee right. When he discovered Wisconsin never changes the way they play defense. By the way, we should get to John Anderson here.
Of course.
No, I'm not even going to finish the answer. I want John Anderson's input on what he remembers and thoughts he has, because it may never happen again.
What do you mean by it?
Wisconsin in a national championship game for the NCAA Division I basketball title. Now, I can say that because I'm old. It may happen for you.
It's funny you say that because I follow up after John goes.
Were you there for the 41 game, Homer?
I started in 1906 doing Wisconsin basketball. I used to be responsible to not only call play-by-play, but take the ball out of the peach basket. That is when play-by-play was tough. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, there you go. That was when I was there. I was so sad, man, because I remember the semifinal win, and we pumped the jump around music. We just violated all sort of commercial music laws. I don't know what it cost us, and the people were crazy fired up. And to this day, I will, like when Grayson Allen joined the Bucks, just couldn't root for him. Like it's just not happening with there. It was helpless to sit and watch, because I'm like everybody else. Like up now, you're like, okay, that's pretty comfortable, and they seem to have covered about anything that Duke had come up with, and even Coach K had said, like, it's a lineup we'd never used before, which maybe I don't know if it's entirely true, but it wasn't one of their standard rotations. But it was just sitting there watching the wind, the air slow leak out of a balloon. And then late, when they just would make shots, they made some, you're just like, okay, here, we just need to stop. And they make them
you sound like the Packers defense, John.
It was terrible. Yeah, exactly. And it just, and towards the end, those last 10 minutes, not everybody on the Badgers played as well as they're used to playing, right? As much as we talk about Duke, they did not play offensively as well as they usually had, which might, I get there's some defensive things that Duke saw, but I don't think Wisconsin played great offensively either the last 10 minutes of that game.
So my question to both of you, because it's based off my lifetime, not yours, Homer, based off my lifetime, I've committed to get a Bucky tattoo on one of my butt cheeks if either football or basketball win a national championship in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think, guys?
Weak. Should be on I'll get mine on my forehead if Marquette wins a national title. On my forehead. MU, baby. You should do the same.
If it happens when I'm your age, sure. I can't have a W on my
Why
forehead.
not?
Because my daughter's gonna be, what's wrong with you, Dad?
No, they won't.
It's with the motion W, Dad.
What do you mean, no, they won't? I only have one right now. How do you know there's they?
I don't. Well, first of all, you have to understand kids. And the professor can tell you, they're going to disagree with whatever you do. They're going to make fun of you, whatever you do. So don't think that, because you've just given them something that you can be proud of. Yes, on your forehead.
I have a question about that.
What do you think, John? Is that going too far?
No. Not just a little, but a lot too far.
Because you brought up the whole making fun of the dad thing. I always used to make fun of my dad's mannerisms. And then you reach an age in which you start doing those things that your dad did, and then you don't make fun of him anymore. Did you have you reached that point in your parenthood where they stop making fun of you?
No. It gets worse as you get older.
Oh no.
Oh, it's fine. It doesn't faze me in the slightest. Like I am that bothered by how my kids treat me. I'll defer to the professor. Professor, should I be worried about how my kids treat me?
No, but in my case, my kids obviously realize I'm a barometer of what's hip in America, so they know to keep pace.
Yes, I'm not in that club, so nicely done. Well done. How long have you been that such barometer? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. I've used it a lot, because I don't play anything, I think, musically that was produced in this century.
Oh, right.
And so, but the other day I got in the car with my son.
How old?
He is 23.
Right.
And he was playing some old school. He had some Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes on. I'm like, dude, you're my hero. He goes, Dad, I've just been listening to you. You're right. Some of this is old school R&B is like where it's at. I'm like, there you go.
Wow.
See, sometimes it takes a while to come around, but if you give them the right stuff, there's
Gotta
some
get
of that
there on their own, right?
There. All right.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to this event you're having because I think everybody should go to it just as a thank you. There needs to be an appreciation of how historic this was. Would have liked the national title, but what's happened since?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I'm excited about is ticket sales for this event are doing really well. I just want to sell out because
it should be
for the exact reason.
Yes,
the only reason why I'm a part of it is because I have the relationships, and through this company, we're able to put on a great event for them. And the idea of getting Bo Ryan, who's in the Naismith Hall of Fame, with the National Player of the Year of 2015 who showed up, and his sophomore year, Frank Kaminsky.
I just want to let you know that both of those mean diddly. They mean nothing. They mean nothing.
I mean, they mean something.
Nothing.
I think
nothing.
I'll go to the, as Homer would say, I'll go to the professor. Doesn't mean nothing.
They meant, there's only one reason either of them means anything. Because you played in the national championship game. You beat a Kentucky team who was unbeaten. If Bo Ryan is not in any Hall of Fame, doesn't matter. If Frank Kaminsky wasn't the National Player of the Year, doesn't matter. What matters is that.
And that's why we're doing this,
yes,
Homer.
That's why you should.
But as I was I was trying to give them a little pop of their credentials. I mean, you should see them for what they did. The reason why I think this is going to be special is I feel like everyone I've talked to about the Final Four teams, and specifically this 2015 team, because they grew even closer after 1 year of doing it and then progressed on even further, had a better year, and went to the national championship game. People loved the team and the players. Right? So the idea...
Yeah, because they won.
Yeah, more than that, though,
Oh,
Homer.
come
No.
on.
If you ask people about
Professor, you set this guy straight.
No, they were loved for personalities as well
Frank,
while doing it.
What?
While winning, they had personality. And that is rare in college athletics to have a team full of personalities. You have had to have done a million interviews with college athletes. College athletes are boring. They're boring. They give you the canned answers. They don't want to get in trouble from the coach. There was personality
The
on this
only
team.
reason anybody knows they had a personality
is because they won.
Because they won.
But they won and they showed personality. A lot of times people win and they don't show a lot of
They
personality.
They are the new. This the professor will like. They are. You are, though you weren't on the team. They are the new 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. Exactly the same.
Professor?
Exactly the same. You honor them, but part of the honor is a disappointment because there was a reasonable belief at some point of thinking, oh, my God. And I remember thinking it. They're going to be national champs. They're going to be national champs.
Crossed everyone's mind?
Yes, other than Bo. Professor, as the national adjudicator of whatever you said you were. Barometer of whatever. Take it away. Did you think at some point in that game they were going to win?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually thought that as soon as they beat Kentucky. I thought, well, they're better than Duke. They'll beat them. And so that was a case that I thought they would do that. I think the other question depends on where you are age-wise. That Brewer team in '82, right? I was 17, and when Bamberger came and was he 78-ish, and they turned and became this team that was not just this also run behind the Yankees and the Red Sox, and that was before they were outspending everybody. Like I can remember when the Brewers spent in free agency and they got Larry Heisel, and that was a big deal because it's changed so much. But those guys, to me, whether they won the World Series or not, will always be my baseball heroes. I don't care who comes along and wins. If the Brewers win this year, Churio, or even if they had won last year, none of those guys, to me, will ever be taller, greater, or the giants that Cecil Cooper was, or Gorman Thomas, or Yount, or Gantner. So
but all you want, John, is a Brewers championship, World Series. That's what you want.
That's what I would like, but those guys would not be. I would not hold them in the same regard as the other fellas because I'm 60 and I'm not 15.
Even if a group won the World Series,
would not resonate with me at 60 like it did when you were growing up at 15, 16, and 17. Nope.
Right.
No.
But I think to John's point, there are plenty of people that view this Wisconsin Badger group as that to them because of the personality that they showed while winning, Homer.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, if they were the age that John Anderson was, I guess I don't.
Got a lot of fun stuff planned, by the way. I did try and figure out.
And the other part is, unlike the Brewers, okay, this season started with the belief that they could win a national championship. And that has never happened. Never happened before. It has never happened since.
When you say Brewers to win a national championship.
No. I'm saying this Wisconsin team.
Oh, got it.
Right.
Yes.
Granted, there was a devastation by the belief that Ben Brust would not be on the team anymore. But aside from that devastation, that year started, and it never had started before and never since. This team can win the national championship. And no one argued the point.
Will we see a day in my lifetime where I have those feelings of getting a tattoo?
Yes, I think so. Just
won't be on my forehead.
I'm disappointed by that. Mine will be on my forehead if Marquette wins.
You just said it may never happen again 3 minutes ago.
I know.
In his lifetime, John.
In my lifetime. I'm 70.
Okay, in his lifetime.
I could be gone tomorrow. He's like 32 or whatever. How old are you?
33.
33. Come on, that's an extra 38 years because we're playing time. There was no way when Dick Bennett took that team, everybody was thinking, hey, our dream year. Nobody thought, but in a few years, Wisconsin will be the favorite or one of the favorites when the season starts to win a national championship. No way, never.
That's why we're celebrating.
That's right.
Where does this fit in? Because I know it irks Ben. Because they didn't win. I'm still a Mike Kelly, Andy Kowski 2000 Final Four team over these two.
Yeah, you need help.
I like those guys better because they really broke the seal.
What?
As you get older,
they
you
scored
become
9
more
points in the Final Four game and had no chance.
Who cares? Who cares if you win 53-41 or 93-82?
I agree, but I said in this game against Duke.
Yeah, they should have won.
No, you never once thought that team in 2000 would get to or would win the game against Michigan State at no point in that game other than the national anthem.
And even then, it was iffy.
No,
By the dawn's early light, I was out.
No, and maybe this is you for the Brewers, but this one hurts. This one hurts. 2000 didn't hurt. Marquette 2003 didn't hurt. It was 100-5 at halftime against Kansas. Oh, it was 48-19. But and I'm thinking, I mean, you think of other, I don't know, with the Packers, where it never really happened. Whenever they got that close, they won.
Let me guess, the 1996 team is your favorite, John, and no other Packer team will be able to surpass them.
Well, right now they're there. But again, like, pick somebody on those teams in 96 and they're great. And my favorite Packer is still going to be Willie Buchanan. And they won nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's something about that, the age that you are, that at least that's just me. The impact they had and the way it resonates with me. And maybe that's because I've been in the business so long now, 37 years, that you kind of find a way to divorce yourself from results and from those people. Even like
you're far from divorce.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you're on your 8th marriage.
No, I'm fascinated by you because I've never cared about anything but winning. Nothing else matters. Nothing.
Yeah, but think about it then. So the Packers won in 1967. I was 2, and they won nothing until I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
So you're saying I just shouldn't like anybody? I should just have no.
You can
like
championships more than people.
I'll tell you how I viewed it. When Bart Starr was coaching, I wanted him to lose every game. This guy can't coach. I don't care if he's Jesus. He can't coach. If he starts winning, they're going to give him an extension. And he did good. He lost, and I'm telling you, it was hard to lose that last game that last year because they had one of the greatest offenses in the history of the NFL in Bart Starr's last year. Tell them, everybody, they had James Lofton, just the beginning.
I will say this. Nobody will have that record in the last 8 years again in the NFL. Okay. That will not happen. Well, I don't know. Jeff Fisher might have. But, yeah, Lofton, Jefferson, Kaufman, they were great.
Lynn Dickey.
Lynn was healthy, and when he was, he was good. Eddie Lee Ivory.
Hey, Bart, call a timeout so you can get the ball back in the game against the Bears. No. I believe in my defensive coordinator. He's given up 500 points.
Who was that, Bob Snooker?
What?
Who was that?
No, John Meyer. He had been previously before that at Notre Dame. And so, who was it? Bob Thomas kicks the field goal. Packers never have a chance to score.
This is older than the Old Testament.
No, I don't. I'm gonna have to look up. I'm not sure that the Packer teams have ever averaged more points per game since that season. But yeah, you're right. It's too old. All right, sell some tickets. Let's go.
UWHoops2015.com. Celebrate the 2015 team. Got a lot of fun stuff planned. Getting to know the outside of the memories.
Yeah.
Just on the court, getting to know them even better. I'm going to dig so much out of each and every single one of them. Oh, yeah.
I just want to know how much they cried and how much they deal with realizing that in modern sports, no Wisconsin team has ever come anywhere.
Well, you just wrote
Barry Alvarez.
My last question of the show. We're going to send him out. We're going to send him around
Alvarez
tears.
could dream of being as close as they were to a national title.
He was good, but he wasn't as great as this team.
They did nothing even close.
UWHoops2015.com. I'll see you Thursday, June 26th. Get your tickets to celebrate and cry like they did.
Yeah, so close.
You're the best.
No, that team was the best. People need to pack the place and thank them because they remember it today. You remember it today? You remember it today, John Anderson, Professor? Do you still remember it today, where you were, when you thought they could win the national championship in that game, and then at the end when you thought...
I was there, I was in the arena, and then I was on TV right after they had lost.
See?
So, yeah, I remember right where I was.
John was crying.
Did you cry on TV?
I did not.
Okay. If it had been the Brewers, would you have...
my teams anymore.
If it had been the Brewers that had been that close, would you have cried on TV? I think you might have.
No, I would curse, but I would not cry.
All right.
More angry.
Tell them where they can get all. Where do they? What's
UWHoops2015.com for all of your information.
June 26th, 7 to 9. There's no way it's only going to be 2 hours. The Orpheum in Madison. June 26th. Thanks, Ben. And yes, this should be our Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. If Ben Brust had been on the team, would they have won the national championship? Tell him, Professor. Would Wisconsin have won the national championship if Ben Brust had been on that team?
No, they needed
What do you think I'm
defense. I
gonna
don't
say?
do that.
No, yeah. Listen, Bruss would have averaged 23 points at a real offensive university instead of 9 or whatever it was.
There's truth to that. Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Well, we still have some delays around the area, pretty hefty ones as well. We do have a broken down vehicle westbound 94 at the stadium interchange off on the right shoulder. That, along with the heavier volume, starts to slow things down from 25th Street all the way out to Hawley Road, and then back on the brakes from the zoo, pretty much all the way to Calhoun, and then more delays from about Barker Road all the way to Highway 164. Eastbound heavy from Highway 16 to 164, and then again through the Barker Road area and from 84th Street all the way to the stadium interchange. We do have a crash on 94 on the ramp from 94 northbound to 894 westbound. Both shoulders are blocked with this, so watch out for those delays. Traffic is brought to you by Comfort Awnings. Extend your outdoor space with a retractable awning or screen like I did with my friends at Comfort Awnings. Custom designed to fit your home. Get your free estimate at comfortawnings.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, scattered storms early, humid with a low of 65. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Afternoon, heavy rain and storms, a high of 73. Weather is brought to you by Big Frog, custom T-shirts and more. Easy and affordable apparel personalization with no minimums and fast turnaround. For all your printing needs, bigfrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on June 17th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in June 17th at 7:05 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check out your local listings to watch the game.
Escape to Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan, Wisconsin, where everything is better at the lake. Dive into endless outdoor activities, including boating, fishing, and paddleboarding on the serene Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind in the award-winning Calidora Spa. Enjoy gourmet meals at 1878 on the lake, casual bites at the Lookout Bar and Eatery, and sweet treats at the Isle of Capri Cafe. Explore Delavan Lake's stunning shores and historic landmarks from the comfort of their 76-foot cruise boat, the Lake Lawn Queen. Book your stay today at LakeLawnResort.com.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Joe Fortenbaugh.
That dinner bill has come due for the great city of Boston for 2 decades of running through the rest of us in every major professional sport. Look at what's happened over the last few months. Tatum Achilles injury. Boston Bruins trade Brad Marchand to the Florida Panthers. You come to the Red Sox. This was supposed to be a year that they were going to compete. They finally get hot and they trade their best player away for nothing. And do we even need to mention the Patriots? Fell apart with the Brady-Belichick relationship. Watch Brady win in Tampa, then watch Belichick flounder the last few years. Mayo comes in for a year. He's run out. Boston sports has owned the rest of us for 2 decades. Feel free to relish in their misery now, watching it all burn down and fall apart, because that's the most expensive dinner bill of all time that's finally come due.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Something amazing is happening when power outages strike. Teams are powering through them. That's because CDW Solutions architects are building more resilient IT and electrical infrastructures with Schneider Electric. With EcoCare remote monitoring services and 24/7 support, your organization can do more than keep the lights on. Schneider Electric and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Schneider Electric.
This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
The time when I am the greatest listener on the planet Earth, the Professor John Anderson with Jason Wilde. Take it away, 7-2.5.
Well, first, Jason, my apologies for last week in sending the wrong article to you about Jair Alexander and just saying that it's finally done. That I was just so thoughtless as to read Domofsky before you is I won't make the mistake again.
Well, you're going to make that mistake today because Rob already posted his story about the GM and the head coach's contract situations, and I'm still writing mine because while we all got together with Ed Policy last Friday and ate pizza, and some people even had a beer or two, I really kind of wanted to put my finger up in the air and judge the way the wind was blowing before I decided how strongly to write that story about both those guys having 2 years left on their contracts and Ed Policy having some decisions to make. So apology not accepted because it wasn't necessary.
So where is the wind blowing? What is your finger in the air telling you after Policy met? He takes over in 6 weeks, but he met with you guys that are sort of the regulars in that that sewing circle of Packer writers. What did we learn?
I prefer coffee clutched, but I'll take sewing circle.
I believe that announcement is hugely significant. If I was LaFleur or Goody, I'd be worried.
Of course you would be. I thought this was the segment where you're the world's greatest listener.
That's what I thought was happening too. I was taken aback.
Now.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So I all kidding aside, it was Domofsky, Matt Steinman from The Athletic, a few people from the Press Gazette and the Journal Sentinel, Gannett, Wisconsin, me, the two Packers.com guys. We love Wes and we love Spoff, but they're not going to be writing on Packers.com about the contract situations of the president, of the GM and the head coach and what the president had to say. So, I didn't want to make this sound like, DEFCON 1, like these guys were on some sort of towering inferno of a hot seat. And the way I chose to frame it, because I did want to see, I thought Rob took a very measured approach, which I would expect from him. He's not really a guy that wants to chase clicks. He hits it down the middle, both in his golf game and with how he writes, and I like to think I try to do the same thing. But I was struggling with, how significant is this? And Homer's interjection there is instructive because I do think you can look at it from that perspective of, hey, win, or there could be some bloodletting here. Now, look, do I think the Packers are going to regress, which was the word du jour a couple weeks ago? Not significantly, no, I don't. I really don't. They may not win as many games as they won last year, but I don't think they're going to be a worse team than they were, if that makes sense. They play a much harder schedule. I don't get to play the AFC South, which is basically like playing the MAC. So I don't know how the season is going to play out. But, somebody asked me, well, what would it take for those guys to be in trouble? I mean, it would have to be maybe not a disaster, but certainly, a sub-500, miss the playoffs, and lead the new president to start wondering about the direction of the organization. I don't see that happening. But the reason why this is significant, and I thought Rob did a really good job the way he wrote it. I'm taking the approach of we've spent all this time during the offseason. I outlined 12 players that are facing pivotal seasons for one reason or another. But let's be honest, the GM and the head coach are facing a pivotal season too. Because the new incoming president and CEO said he doesn't believe in lame duck seasons like Mike McCarthy went through in Dallas last year. But while he said he doesn't believe in that, he would also said, I would never say never and say I wouldn't do that ever. So what exactly are we going to be talking about come January and where the job security is for the GM and the head coach? That is a meaningful conversation and certainly fair game to discuss. And I think the biggest reason in my mind for that is that the last outgoing president who was turning over the reins, Bob Harlan handing off to Mark Murphy, Bob Harlan made sure that both Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy signed contract extensions before Murphy took over. So it basically solidified their place that if for some reason the new president didn't get along with him or didn't like him or whatever it might have been, they would have cost the team a pretty penny to move on from each of them.
How many years did they have? Just to interrupt again.
I believe they had 3 years. I believe he signed them to 4-year extensions literally right before he handed over the reins. That's one of the facts I'm fact-checking as I write. But my point is that did not happen in this case. Their contracts, as Ed confirmed to us, have multiple years left. They're not going into the last year of their deal. All three of us had other conversations. So I can tell you they've got this year and 2026 left on their contracts. And so they did not extend them to give them that kind of wiggle room with the new boss. And Ed policy does not strike me as the guy who's going to come and say, I got to have my people. These guys don't know what they're doing. I mean, he talks about how much he loves these guys and trusts them and how exceptional they are. My point is simply, you go 7-10, you're probably not going to be using the word exceptional anymore, and then you got some decisions to make. And that is what I'm trying to capture as we talk about this and as I write about this.
So, because McCarthy had won a Super Bowl by that time, right? So that gives him more clout.
He had not. They had been in 2007. They had been to the NFC Championship game under Ted and Mike, and Murphy had been named in December as the successor, but he had not yet been given the job. And so before that, and look, he certainly, Mike and Ted certainly gave Bob Harlan ample ability to do that because they made it to the NFC Championship game, right? Like the other part of this, if we're being honest, is this team last year didn't move further in the playoffs than they had in 2023. If they had the finish to 2024 that they had to 2023 with the franchise next great quarterback being on an incredible heater, with them winning their last 3 regular season games, then going to Dallas and kicking the crap out of McCarthy's team, and then having the 49ers on the ropes through 3 quarters of the NFC divisional round game, maybe those guys would have gotten extensions, and this would be a moot point. But instead, they lost their last 3. They looked like garbanzo in that playoff game against the eventual Super Bowl champs. And as a result, that's why we're having this conversation now. I don't want Packers fans to look at this as, oh, here goes the mainstream media stirring the pot when they don't need to. I'm not trying to be an alarmist here.
I will do that.
I was a little. That's a great role for you, much like listening is. So I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, I do think this is a conversation that merits being had.
Yeah, I mean, he is. It's hard to read tone sometimes when you write in black and white when you look like that, but I do think it is telling to some degree that those guys have expectations on their performance every bit as much as everybody else that's actually on the field. So I do think it's a thing. Mm-hmm. The size of the thing, as you are trying to kind of formulate or write correctly, I applaud. But yeah, it's something because he didn't shy away from that. He didn't just say it was coming. So
and again, like I think it's important to balance both the things that he said that as I was sitting there drinking my bottled water jumped out at me. On the one hand, as he talked about these 3 people, because you got to include Russ Ball in the equation too, right? Because they certainly matter. He used, and again, I want to quote him accurately here. You've got three exceptional people doing an exceptional job right now and working well together. I feel very good about all three of those individuals. I love them. I trust them. I respect them. I have terrific relationships, both working and personal, with them. Okay, so if that on the one hand sounds like, well, these guys aren't going anywhere. Now here's the other part of it, because he made it very clear that what matters is, what it doesn't matter to him what the structure is. He's good with the structure, but he is going to hold them to account. I'm generally opposed. I'd never say never, but I'm generally opposed to a coach or GM going into the last year of their contract. That creates a lot of issues. I think normally you have a pretty good idea of where that relationship is going when you have 2 years left. Not always, but normally. So I think generally speaking, I would avoid lame duck status. It's oftentimes difficult on everybody involved, but there are certain situations that probably call for it, so I would not say never.
Translate, please.
I think these guys are good at their jobs. I don't think this is going to be an issue, but I'm going to be prepared in case it is. And I'm not afraid to say, hey, you guys went 7-10. We didn't make the playoffs. I still think you guys are the guys. Maybe there's a half measure to be had after the season where you add another year onto their contracts each, so they're not in a lame duck year. But
so why don't you do that now?
Because they've got 2 years left, and you don't in the NFL. You don't do things before you have to do them. And
if you believe in him in the slightest way, what you're doing is creating. Tell me if I'm wrong here to make sure that you're creating all this pressure. It's appropriate to say we don't know for sure if they're going to be back after next year. He's created that. That's a fact.
No,
right?
He's left his options undeniably open after
I can tell you how I'd feel as the coach or GM. This is crap. If we think we've done a good job, give us one more year now, then we don't have to worry about it's not just the lame duck year, it's the year before the lame duck year when everybody talks about the lame duck year coming up.
Yeah, in the words of I believe it was Billie Jean King who said it first.
Yes.
And you being a tennis guy, pressure is a privilege.
Yeah, respect and acting as if you believe in what you've just said.
Yeah, well, hey, guess what? Goody, you don't get to have we're going to make Goody feel better about his status and Matt LaFleur make him feel better.
No, have they done well enough to justify?
But Rasheed Walker, you started 34 games of left tackle, but we're still maybe going to give your job away.
All right, I'll ask both of you this. Have they done well enough for the new president to give him a 1 year? What?
Zach Tom, you're not listening.
I am listening totally.
Zach Tom, you're arguably the third best right tackle in the entire NFL, but we're going to have our offensive coordinator and offensive line coach say that you're competing for your job.
Yeah, and we know that's a lie. He's going to get a long-term deal.
Is good. What's good for the goose is good for the gander there, old man.
Has he not created a story for the entire season by what he's done?
I think it was only because we were smart enough to ask about it.
But, it's a legitimate – I don't care if the people that think stuff's made up. It's legitimate. The year before –
No one gets a contract extension with 2 years left on their existing deal. You don't have to do it now. And if they go in the toilet, you want to have the flexibility to say, you know what, I'm in charge now, and you guys were good, but I want to win a Super Bowl here, which the only time they did it under my predecessor was with the guys that had been hired before he took over.
All right, so how bad does the record have to be for either or both of them to lose their job?
That is a question that the two of you can debate because it's already 5:40. You got 2 segments left of this program.
All right. The professor.
Great job listening today.
Finish however you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just listening.
This is the biggest story of the offseason, and it's not even close. He's created a story for the entire upcoming season because it's legitimate for me and even the professor, if he chooses to say it. there's a point in which they could lose their job if this year is bad enough, or that it can be legitimately presented as a situation.
This is the alarmist narrative I was trying to avoid.
It's not alarmist. It's accurate.
It's
Professor,
a little alarmist.
Oh, fine. It's a little alarmist. He's created the ability for that alarmist.
I think he's opened the door. He's opened the door for questions, but I don't think it's an alarmist thing because even if they sign him for an extension and they went in 6-10, they'd fire him anyway. So I don't know that 1 year does.
You're right about that.
You think they would?
Yeah.
I mean, if they backslid in a significant way, they would basically
They
just
need
have
2
a
years
better
of
golden
training.
I'm too
parachute.
nice. I wouldn't. But all right.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that you're too nice.
I guess I don't care what record they get this year. They've earned a right for another year. But,
I agree with you on that. And what a great place to end where you and I agree.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
All right, guys, take care. Be good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I interrupted all the time because I think this is this is a huge story and will be a huge story. And anybody who wants to blame it on the media can do so. But I don't care. Because if I was the coach or GM, that's how I would feel. Professor, if you were the coach or GM, how would you feel after this announcement by the new president?
My guess is that none of that comes as a surprise to them.
Oh, all right.
I think of your policy, you don't go talking about that out loud unless you've had talks with them about that. And with the change in the leadership from Mark Murphy, that is a question that their people, their representative or whomever, would certainly ask of the new guy. So I don't think anything that came out is going to be terrible, is going to be news to them. And I do think you've got 2 years. I'm with Jason in that. There doesn't have to be a reason to make the decision that you don't have to do it.
But he just said he doesn't like doing that. Have a
He
coach
said,
go through
last year. You're now talking 2 years. He says
no.
a year.
So what do they? As if you're the coach, what do you feel like your record you have to have that could cost you your job?
I don't think literally coaches that are trying to win even think about what record makes me lose my job.
What do you think? What
games.
do you think would be the record that the LaFleur would lose his job?
I think it'd have to be really bad. Like I don't think a 7-12 would be fired. I don't think 500
an embarrassment.
Because you could have, but I think you got to have, so you'd have to go in to face that guy and have a plan and say, here's what we're doing, here's what we're changing, because
something really bad.
Here's why.
So am I overstating the importance of this decision? Do I need to tone it down a little bit?
I think it is a development that is certainly worth interesting and worth looking at, but I don't know that I have to go that this is a 5-alarm fire.
3-alarm?
No, I don't even think it's that.
Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Northbound 94 to westbound 894 in the Mitchell interchange. We do have a crash with both shoulders with cars at it, so just be extra careful there. We've also got a crash on the ramp from Highway F in Waukesha County to 94 eastbound. Now, this is heavy already from Highway 16, pretty much all the way through the Barker Road area. You're back on the brakes from 92nd Street through the stadium. The westbound side, we got backups out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road, and then from the zoo, taking you all the way to Highway 164. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Scattered storms early, humid with a low of 65. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Afternoon, heavy rain and storms, a high of 73. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open is back at the Bog. Tune in all day on July 15th for our ESPN Milwaukee crew having fun and hitting the links. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open is sponsored by Carbless, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, Fifth Third Bank, Cider Heating, Plumbing and Electrical, Gruber Law Offices, Welke's Milwaukee Florist, and Jet Out. Join in on the fun July 15th on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Summerfest welcomes Def Leppard. This Thursday night, American Family Insurance Amphitheater during Summerfest. Get set to get rocked, Def Leppard, with special guest Tesla. Tickets on sale now at summerfest.com and Ticketmaster outlets. Def Leppard, brought to you by Summerfest.
Truck drivers, the job you have today might not be the one you want tomorrow, and that's okay. At Schneider, our transfer team is here to help you if you decide the job you picked isn't the right fit, or if you come across life changes that require a different schedule or home time. Last year, nearly 2,000 Schneider drivers transferred to different opportunities at the company that better met their lifestyle. Find the driving job that fits yours and your family's needs. Apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
The Protect the Package golf outing takes place on August 16 at Ironwood Golf Course. Come be a part of the most unique outing in the state while helping loved ones battle cancer. Proceeds benefit the This Time Tomorrow Foundation. Sign up your foursome at thistimetomorrow.org under the events tab.
Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
I interrupted a few times, sorry. Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at the state-of-the-art Brookfield office. They were great, and he told me about it for over 20 years, but not great enough. Been helping local patients with their eye care needs. Got to do better. So last year, Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the team, so they're even better in more of the issues of your vision. So trust the experts, all of them, from Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. I've told you how devoted they are to the best for whatever your situation. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com. And 10 years ago, the Badger basketball team, as we talked about with Ben Rust, made a run in March. That was magical. Wisconsin basketball made them believe so close to a national title. That would have been my title. Thursday, June 26th, join the stars from the squad as they remember and celebrate the run to Indy. Get your tickets to be part of the intimate night at the Orpheum Theater in Madison. Frank Kaminsky, Sam Decker, Josh Gosser, and yes, Bo Ryan. UW Hoops 2015, UWHoops2015.com. And tickets on sale at UWHoops20, is there a dash in there? 15.com. Yeah, go there to say thanks. That close to a national title, or made them believe. Either one. And the professor, because we'll have time. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
The people there made it a really great trip. The people in Green Bay were really nice, like literally driving ESPN people around themselves.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
The Pancake Palace in Green Bay was outstanding. So really nice trip.
On 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor. If it's a celebrate or tailgate when you're gonna recreate upstate. If it's a holiday, birthday, any date, you can save at Discount Liquor.
It's the world's largest music festival, and you'll be there compliments of Discount Liquor. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. There is no other party like Summerfest. Buy any one 15-pack of 16-ounce aluminum bottles of Miller Lite, Coors Light, or Coors Banquet, or any one 12-pack of Happy Thursday Spiked Refresher, and receive one free Summerfest ticket. Visit us at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and in Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
See us for your free Summerfest ticket and check out our specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
For over 50 years, Cousin Subs has celebrated and embraced the traditions of their home state of Wisconsin. And now, Cousins will be honoring a Wisconsin tradition like no other with their Pull Tab giveaway promo. Now through July 6th, while supplies last, guests will receive a Cousins Pull Tab with a sub or sub-inable purchase for a chance to win Cousin Subs for a year and much more. For additional info and official rules, visit cousinsubs.com/pulltabs. One pull tab per customer per transaction per day. To receive a pull tab with no purchase necessary, see official rules.
Hey, it's Kyle Walsh, and if you're a homeowner like me, you know how it goes. There's always a project that needs attention, and sometimes the big ones, like replacing old windows, get pushed to the bottom of the list. But I'm telling you, this is the time to finally check that box with Universal Windows Direct. They're running their home improvement season sale, and the offer is just too good to pass up. You can get payments as low as $99 a month or no payments and no interest for an entire year. Call 414-410-2000 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com.
Visit the Milwaukee County Zoo this summer to enjoy so many species of connection. Home to more than 2,200 animals and over 340 species, kids can dig into dinos at the zoo's summer exhibit. At Exploration Dinosaur, presented by Meyer, you'll unearth the past and present and explore prehistoric bones, teeth, and more from mighty dinosaurs like the T-Rex and Triceratops. It's an exciting adventure with life-size dinos and hands-on discoveries. Exploration Dinosaur is open daily now through October 5th. Visit MilwaukeeZoo.org for more information.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car, better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
All right, you didn't have enough John Anderson on the John Anderson Homer Hour, so you just take over now. I promise I'll shut up if you have things that you want to talk about. NBA Finals, anything.
NBA Finals is interesting. I'm a little mad at Stephen A. Smith. I don't think that Giannis is an underachiever, in that he made news with the other day. I like that the Brewers have got themselves. I mean, they're 5.5 back of the Cubs, but they look like they've righted the ship. They're a winning ball club, even though every 5 days they don't score a run. I do still think it's okay that I like the Brewers team and always will, that just because they didn't win a World Series, and that I will, if the Brewers win one in my lifetime, those guys still won't be as special to me. I can't
that should
believe
be a
you
whole
won't-
show. I can't believe you. I can't believe that.
Why?
Because there's only one thing that matters: winning a title. That's forever. Second place is
That's
not forever.
That's an old person point of view.
I believed it when I was 8. That's why you play.
So the guys that you liked at 8,
yes,
who were
The New York Yankees, because they always won. The Green Bay Packers, because they always won. And for some reason, I like Wilt Chamberlain because I should have liked the Celtics.
Right. What do you think of Rusty Lish? Did he win anything with Notre Dame? I don't know.
No, I think nothing of him. Nothing.
So Joe Montana is your guy because he won a championship.
He won everywhere.
Yeah, he did win everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I just think that those
doesn't
guys
mean I don't like the other people, but
understood.
But
by I should pick a Packer corner. What am I thinking of? Newsome or
Willie Buchanan was a great choice.
Right, but he didn't win anything, so I guess I should like the other corners better now. They should supplant my childhood guys.
You could like that player better, but as far as the team, it'd be like Willie. I've met Willie. It's sad that you were on bad teams because nobody remembers and knows how great you were.
Mm-hmm.
He might have been as good a cornerback as ever played for the Green Bay Packers.
James Lofton is better than any wide receiver the Packers had that was on the championship team.
Yes, and it's sad because he picked the wrong time to be there with the wrong coach and GM. I feel bad for him.
So you just get cast aside now and
totally.
Like some other team.
Yes. He said, I agree with you totally. But
what is funny, though, is I am in the middle of putting together a list that we're voting for the outstanding track and field athlete of the year now.
All right.
And we have some people.
Will it be somebody who won a race, or will you pick somebody who finished second?
No, the point is, right. So the point is when I go through there's a guy that has set the collegiate record, but he got beat both indoor and outdoor of the championship. And I'm like, no, I totally value the championship. So in some ways, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I don't care how fast you run. I just want to know if you won.
Yep.
So in that regard, I value it. But in terms of those guys, they won't replace it.
I got to mention American Place Casino because I'm doing the show from there tomorrow. You're welcome to come. Nice. I'll pay your plane fare to get you to American Place Casino tomorrow. Both ways. You coming?
I don't know that I can make it.
All right. Located in Lake County, Illinois, but just a half hour south of Franklin. Half hour south of Franklin. I don't say that enough. Half hour south of Franklin. Great promos. They get slot machines, table games, sports book. You could win a 2025 Mustang Dark Horse Premium. Go to AmericanPlace.com. And again, doing the show from there tomorrow. John Anderson might be there. 7.2.5. That's how he signs his autograph.
Never won anything. Who cares what that number is? Never won anything.
I wouldn't count.
Never won anything.
Yeah, you're below Dwight Stones. Deal with it.
Doesn't matter.
But it's still impressive. Yes.
Never won anything.
You had to win something. I'm going to look it up. Golf next.
Along southbound 41 from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. Northbound is backing up from before Mayfair Road all the way up to almost Hampton.